Now, Oluwatobi Olumide Ajayi is a certified family life coach and seasoned entrepreneur who is passionate about marriages and family. And now her passion has led her to set up three core couples, premarital and postmarital counseling outfit, where she mentors on marriage and family well-being. She's joining us today to discuss empathy, which is a key ingredient in marriage bliss, which is really, really important, especially in this day and age of social media, so many distractions, lots of pressure on marriages.
You can say that again.
Yeah, so empathy is an important thing, which you say is a key ingredient in marriage. But what is empathy?
Okay, thank you. Empathy is being able to put yourself in another person's shoes, like the ability to understand how the other person is feeling or what they are thinking, irrespective of whether you understand it or you agree with it or not. Yeah.
So in simple terms, just feeling what the other person is feeling,
yeah.
something like that, the ability to be able to, I understand your pain, something like
Exactly.
that. So usually what you find in, when you talk about empathy, people always assume it's something that has to do with being sensitive or being understanding. And for the most part, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually the woman that says, the man is not as sensitive, or he's not sensitive to my needs. He doesn't understand what I'm saying, something like that. But why? How do we create a balance in a relationship, especially in a marriage, where there's empathy on both sides?
Okay, I think everybody has to learn empathy. So it's not gender-based. It's not for the man, it's not for the woman. It's just a key ingredient. It's not only for marriage, it's for everybody. So empathy makes you feel what the other person is feeling, and then it makes you to be able to step back and think about how to respond as against just reacting. So it's not about the man or the woman. It's something that everybody should have, because empathy will actually make your life easier, make your relationship better. And, there are a lot of things empathy does that I believe that everybody should be able to imbibe that in their day-to-day living.
So if someone, for instance, is trying to be more empathetic, so maybe you've been insensitive and you haven't, you just find out you're tougher than the other person. How do you begin to cultivate this feeling of empathy towards your partner?
Okay, you learn it. Every skill can be learned. And once you know what it is and you're conscious of it, so life is all about intentionality. Once you're conscious about it, then you always step back to think before you respond. So you see someone that, okay, let me just give you one or two examples. So this couple were having issues, and then they get to the marriage counselor before they even realize what is happening. So this woman was getting very frustrated with her husband, and as in she's very angry, and then she starts to withdraw sex. Why? Because her husband will go into the bathroom, use the toilet, and not flush. I mean, when he takes a pee, as against, okay, so he believes that it's just when you do number two, that you flush. That was just his mentality. And that was because growing up, he grew up in a face me, I slap you house. And water is limited, resources are limited in places like that. So he had not been used to that. So he gets married, I don't know, probably when he was in school or something, if he was doing that. But he gets married, and then the wife is always telling him, how could you do that? Right. And she had been telling him she wasn't seeing anything.
So she was taking out her frustrations on him.
Yes, she was taking out her frustration. Okay, she would nag and do all that. But instead of nagging and shouting and then start to withdraw sex, she could have stepped back to think about why he was doing that. Because, of course, she knows that it's not that this man does not love me. It's not that this man is bad, really. So sometimes you just have to think about why that person is doing whatever they are doing that is upsetting you, or why whatever it is the person is saying. You have to try to understand where the person is coming from. But if you're not practicing empathy, you will not be able to think in that line. You're just thinking about yourself. Empathy is like keeping a laser beam focus on the other person.
On yourself and then...
On the other person.
On the other person.
Yeah, not on yourself. Because if you're thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your frustrations, how the action is affecting you and all that.
So being less selfish. So how about the situation where some people feel like if I'm demonstrating empathy, I'm allowing the other person to take advantage of me using emotions, because people always feel like that, especially in a relationship, that this person will take advantage of me if I'm too empathetic. Okay,
so there's a balance. It's not as if when you're being empathetic, you lose yourself completely. So there's a balance. You still have to know when the person is being manipulative. And you will know if someone is actually being manipulative, especially in marriages. Your husband or your wife, you know them very well. So you know when they start to become manipulative, and then you try to balance it. But most times in marriage, especially if you already know the kind of person your spouse is, but even then, there's still a reason why the person is acting that way.
The way they're acting,
there's still a reason. So maybe they are trying to get your attention. They're trying to get something. So you still try to think about why. That's the only time you can help, and you can try to find a solution or try to resolve whatever it is. So the person is trying to maybe take advantage of you. Why is this person like this? Why is this person doing this? Why is this person thinking like this?
So I was wondering what's the first thing that people who are trying to be more empathetic towards their partner, whether it's a husband or a wife, what's the first thing that they should start doing, say from today? Now, listening to you right now, and they say, okay, you know what, I want to be more empathetic.
Okay, so it's part of what I've said. When you want to be more empathetic, the first thing you should do is always think about the why. So someone is reacting in a particular way, someone is doing something, always think about why they are doing it. Always put yourself in the person's shoes. That's empathy. You're putting yourself in the person's shoes. So you're thinking, what if this is me? What if I am the one in this situation? How would I react to that person? Because when you empathize, then you're able to show mercy. You're able to give grace. That's what empathy does. So you always step back and put yourself in the person's shoes and say, what if I am the one? Why is this person acting this way? Then that way you flipped it. You flipped it over, and it's easy to show ourselves mercy. So when you put yourself in the person's shoes, you'll be able to.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sure people are listening now and they're making a decision that, okay, so I'm going to be more empathetic and understanding towards my partner. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to be going on to some funny videos that we discovered just for you on the internet.